The Sixers are continuing to add youth and athleticism this offseason, and that comes with Jabari Walker signing a two-way contract with the team. This is breaking news. Welcome on into NZ for 3, where we talk Sixers nonstop. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you're new around here, but let's get right into it, man. So the 76ers are signing yet another long, athletic wing that can rebound the basketball. That is right. That is Jabari Walker right here. So he spent his entire career in Portland so far. He's only 22 years old, and rebounding is his skills, is his biggest, best skill, and that is exactly what the Sixers need, man. That really does not, we don't really need to go that deep into, how awful the Sixers have been in rebounding for, I don't know, the past 5 or so years. I don't think the Sixers have ever really been a good rebounding team in the Embiid era, but we finally have someone whose primary skill is rebounding, and he's not, a center or someone who just gets picked apart on the defensive end of the floor like Andre Drummond or like Mo Bamba. We get Jabari Walker, who is a 6'8" wing, 6'11" wingspan, and last year he averaged 7 rebounds per game. That's right, 7 rebounds per game. I know this is these were his stats from this season, and that, they don't really look too impressive, but you got to keep in mind that the Portland Trailblazers, they kind of have a lot of wings, and Toumani Camara had his breakout year, and I think he made the all-defensive second team and was playing like 32 minutes a night. So he kind of, took his minutes a little bit. Then he had Denny Avdia as well, going to Portland and contributing there, getting a lot of time. And so Jabari Walker was kind of phased out of the rotation for Portland and didn't really get much run. So that's why the stats from this season aren't too impressive. But, last season, the 2024 season, he was, pretty decent. He was averaging around 9 points, 7 rebounds, and an assist per game. That is a perfect type of player that you need next to Joel Embiid, that the Sixers need in general, man. And he really is not a bad three-point shooter either. He did this season, at least, he shot 1 3 a game on 39%. So yeah, that volume, it's definitely got to be ticked up a little bit if he's going to be getting some significant minutes. But this is a good addition for the Sixers, man. And the Eric Gordon signing, that kind of scared me a little bit. It scared me because, Daryl Morey was talking about, we need to get younger, we need to get more athletic, but you bring back Eric Gordon, who is the absolute opposite of that, who is one of the worst players in the NBA at this point in his career, who was just terrible last season. I mean, we just got to call it how it is. I mean, he's had a fantastic career, but he was like, he just could not do anything. He was just a traffic cone on defense, and he was good, still good at, shooting threes, but really just did not have any juice left. And Eric Gordon was the most disappointing Sixer for me last season. Granted, he is a role player, so you gotta take it with a grain of salt when Embiid and Paul George are not playing, because the role players, they play around the star. But Eric Gordon, he was just decrepit, man, just completely decrepit. And I think we're Sixers fans kind of overreacting a little bit to Eric Gordon being signed. Probably. I mean, hindsight, now that they are signing Jabari Walker, and we're kind of, back on this track of, hey, they're adding more youth, they're adding more, athletic players to complement Embiid. I guess this Eric Gordon signing will just slide that under the rug a little bit. I guess, he can be a mentor for VJ Edgecombe, and he is a professional. So, look, as long as Eric Gordon is not getting any minutes, we'll be fine. All right? Now, signing Kyle Lowry, on the other hand, no. Just no. Can he be an assistant coach? I mean, they were calling him Coach Lowry on the broadcast, but I digress. Back to Jabari Walker, man. So he had a 22% defensive rebounding percentage last season, and that ranked among the best in the NBA. If you don't know what that stat means, it's basically the percentage of available rebounds that you grabbed for your team, and he was up there with a lot of really good rebounders like Evan Mobley, Giannis, that sort. And Jabari Walker, man, rebounding is what he does best in the Philadelphia 76ers. If there's one thing this entire fan base can agree upon, no matter how you think about whatever, like Tobias Harris, how you think, how much the coach has to do about, Nick Nurse or whatever, we could all agree that the Philadelphia 76ers reek when it comes to rebounding the basketball. They have had no good rebounding seasons for pretty much as long as I can remember, man. This team, it was so frustrating just seeing them ball watch, not get boxed out, or not doing any boxing out whatsoever, just watching the ball, watching all these dudes crash the boards left and right, get offensive rebounds, and the home crowd's like, oh, and then they miss, and they're like, oh, we're going to get the rebound, and then they get another one, and the crowd's like, oh, and yeah, it's the rebounding for this team has been atrocious these last couple of years, and Jabari Walker is a player that really thrives when he is rebounding the basketball, and that is great, man, because the 76ers, they need rebounding. I am relieved at this move. I don't really know how many minutes Jabari Walker is going to be getting when you think about all the wing depth that the Sixers have. You got Paul George, obviously, Kelly Oubre, Justin Edwards, Watford, and Jabari Walker. First of all, talk about a pretty decent wing lineup, really, man. I mean, if Paul George, if he can come back and really have a bounce-back year, that'd be awesome. Of course, he's going to be playing, heavy minutes in the playoffs. If they even make the playoffs, we got to, that can't be certain after last season. You never know, man. You never know what happens with these injuries. But with the emergence of Justin Edwards and maybe Trendon Watford getting a lot of minutes too, where will Jabari Walker fall, in this rotation? Well, you got Kelly Oubre as well. So, I mean, I don't really know, man. It kind of seems to be a little bit crowded at the moment, which is a good thing, man, because the Sixers have never had any depth. And Jabari Walker is on a two-way contract, so it does not impact the salary cap whatsoever. And then, Quentin Grimes is like he's 6'5". You can't really call him a wing, but regardless. So this isn't a move, Jabari Walker. Let's not overhype him a little bit. He's not really a player that's going to blow your socks off by any means necessary, but what he does do is he hustles, he fills in those gaps, and as long as he can be, an average, plus perimeter defender and really help the Sixers when it comes to rebounding, that can be really valuable, especially when, Joel Embiid, man, he used to be a fantastic rebounder, but of course with all the injuries piling up and such, he really barely jumps and goes for any rebounds whatsoever. I think his rebounding is definitely one of his biggest weaknesses. As a big man, of course, he's still averaging like 10, 11 per season, but, still, there are like games where like Embiid would have 5 or, like 6. Like, we can't have that, man. You can't have that, but we'll see, with Embiid's health, obviously, and what Jabari Walker will be able to bring to the Sixers. And some closing thoughts, man. I'm excited about this signing, man, because the Sixers, they have not embraced youth. They have not embraced youth throughout the Embiid era. I mean, last year we were seeing lineups with Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, Reggie Jackson, and like playing them next to Tyrese Maxey. So, I mean, Daryl Morey throughout his entire Sixers tenure, he's prioritized, veteran experience, you know what I mean, rather than athleticism or youth at all. And that's not good, because these other teams, when they have a bunch of young dogs who are hungry and are going to try and pound you, you need to have guys to match their intensity, not just mentally, but physically as well. Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to go grab a rebound or whatever. They just can't. They're small as heck, and they are washed. So I could not fathom the decisions that Nick Nurse was making last year when it came to all those lineups and playing Gershon Yabusele at center. And speaking of which, that just reminded me that Adem Bono's on the team. It seems like everyone has forgotten about Adem Bona. So, yeah, I mean, Trendon Watford, I would rather have Trendon Watford be the backup point guard as opposed to Kyle Lowry. So just don't bring back Lowry, man. If you could bring him back as a trainer or like as an assistant coach, that'd be awesome. Because obviously the dude knows a lot about basketball since he's been one of the top point guards in the NBA for probably longer than I was alive. So, he kind of was a late bloomer. Became an all-star in like his late 30s. But he's been in the NBA, longer than I was alive, I think. And Kyle Lowry obviously knows what he's doing when it comes to orchestrating an offense when he was in his prime. So if you could bring him back as a trainer and assistant coach, that'd be awesome, dude. I'd be all for it. But not be getting any minutes. Not be getting any minutes. I think, you just can't you can't put all these old players on the team, because guess what Nick Nurse is going to do? Nick Nurse is going to play him. Nick Nurse is one of those coaches who just defers to his veterans and plays politics, and sort of reminds you of Doc Rivers a little bit. And yeah, it's unfortunate that Nick Nurse does have a lot of Doc Rivers tendencies. So Daryl Morey, if you're watching this video, man, please don't sign any more old players, because Nick Nurse, he's going to play them. He's going to play them. You signed Trendon Watford. You said yourself that he's a young dynamic player with who's a great passer and can really help the Sixers be better, have a more fluid offense. Do that. Make him the backup point guard. I mean, at least from what I've watched from him so far, he has a decent handle. He has good court vision, and is a high IQ player. And I think the Sixers, they could definitely use that in with him complementing the game with his size and his defense as well. If he can be a average plus defender and bring that facilitation to the court, that would help a lot with the Sixers and filling in the gaps, man. Just players who can fill in the gaps. We have scores. We have Embiid, Maxey, PG, Jared McCain. You know what I mean? And a lot of these young dogs like VJ Edgecombe, Watford, and I guess Jabari Walker now, Justin Edwards as well, man. I am liking the direction that Daryl Morey is taking the Sixers when it comes to these mini signings. And Daryl Morey, man, he is really good at finding those diamonds in the rough, and we'll see what happens. In my opinion, this is a good signing for the Sixers, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you think I'm just overhyping Jabari Walker because I have nothing better to do, let me know. But if you actually think he will make a significant, an impact at least on the Sixers, I don't know about significant, who knows, man. But an impact on the Sixers next season, let me know in the comments section below. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Peace.